still to this day, I can't. I'm not the educator.
I have a hard time explaining it and educating people.
What's the easiest way that you've ever explained it?
Hi everyone, welcome back to the Web3 channel. My name is Zach. In this video, we're looking at industry leader OpTic H and industry leader for Web3, DeezeFi, talking about NFTs, what they are and why are they important. This is going to be not a stupid video. This is actually going to be going over the ins and outs. So if you don't care about that, not the video for you. But with that being said, let's have a listen to what they have to say about things.
I couldn't. Still to this day, I can't. I'm not the educator.
I have a hard time explaining it and educating people.
What's the easiest way that you've ever explained it?
An NFT?
Yeah.
I try to just say it's like digital art. It's a token that represents digital art, but it's a really poor analogy because it's really so much more.
Yeah.
But it's like a quick way of just getting people to think about it. I always just say like, think of like a Picasso, but it's digital and you have a token that represents the Picasso. And you can see throughout every single trade of that Picasso. So like you could see the day Picasso painted it, and you could see every single time that Picasso has changed hands to like the millisecond. And I try to get people like thinking about provenance and how like that might be cool. I don't know. It's tough. It's really tough. It also depends on who you're talking to, right? Because if you're talking to gamers, I don't really think they care about digital art as much.
Digital art is not the way to go about it, in my opinion, when trying to explain what an NFT is. Personal opinion, it's the wrong way to go about it because suddenly monkeys could come up and board at yacht club.
Which is if you're talking to like art collectors. Talking to gamers, you might want to say stuff about like, imagine if your items in World of Warcraft or RuneScape or your skins in League of Legends or CSGO were able to be not only traded, but used as collateral for loans. Like say you have a $10,000 knife skin in CSGO. Yeah. Maybe you could take a loan against it, use it for something, rather than just have it locked in your Steam gated account that it can't leave.
You would think that a guy like me who ran a server in Minecraft called OpTic, in which we made, by the end of the year, we had made like $1.1 million in microtransactions. And I mean, a lot of it was for me too, right? Because I was buying shit like crazy for the factions. But you know what? A funny story on that is that every time that Nachad would get in there, he would just start destroying shit because it was funny for him. And I'm like, yo, you can't be doing that because you're destroying people's shit so that they can buy more of something. Like it could be perceived as like you're fucking literally breaking shit so that they can buy more of this shit.
He didn't realize that.
No, of course not. He was just doing it for the fucking video and shit. I was like, no, you can't do that shit. But it was nuts, right? Like those microtransactions like had value, and what were they really, right? In the reality of things. But I still just am not all the way there on it. And
okay, so one thing before he goes further, because it's actually quite a long conversation, it's a really good one. We're going to go over and have a look at what DeezeFi was talking about when it comes to being able to bring in games or assets from different games. Let's have a look at what Fwiz has to say. Fwiz is a good friend of OpTic H, speaking about interoperability, which is when people are using the example of being able to bring a gun from Call of Duty into a game like Valorant, for example. People trying to pitch NFTs to gamers, please stop using the interoperability argument. That is, again, bringing one asset from one game over to a different game because it's counterproductive. There's no appetite here from gamers. On top of this argument, it's not practical and is highly complicated for game engine design, misaligned incentives, etc. Now, we have a KOL here saying, I think there's a gamers who became gamers because of Web3. And I'd like to think that they do think a world where interoperability is favorable, etc. We also have someone from 100 Thieves, or at least someone who's been in the 100 Thieves circle, saying, I'm not sure I agree interoperability is a really unique way to attract communities to your game. I don't think they should impact mechanics, but I can certainly imagine being able to alter aesthetics based on what NFTs are in your wallet. If you don't understand anything that has just been said, then that's great. That means that you have stuff to learn about. Realistically, this is not, in my opinion at least, the number one. It's definitely something, but not the number one reason why gamers should get into NFTs.
And again, like I was saying earlier, like as an artist, like I listen, I watch. The amount of content that I consume, I'm just like, I just don't, something in my old 42-year-old brain just hasn't like fully grasped it. And that is, I guess, where the beauty is of this thing, right?
Yeah, I think the digitally native millennials and younger do grasp it. I think the people who played a lot of MMOs get it very quickly. And then like it's harder if you just played like Call of Duty from 2008 till now, I think there's less things in the game, like even in Warzone with the skins and stuff, I think there's less things that would make you think about digital ownership. Whereas like when you're grinding those rare items that take you 1,200 hours to get one, and then you realize the time sink and then you can sell it in the game, but then that currency you can't really take out unless you want to sell it. I think for those people, they got it really quickly.
I mean, if you're spending all of your time there, like that's where you want you to be the coolest or have the most value of yourself in there, right? Like that's what community is. That's what culture is at the bottom of all of it. I get it 100%. I just don't know how to do it myself. And I care about art. I'm an art collector. I literally collect just magazines of graffiti because I love the artwork. And that's what I do. So I get it. I appreciate it. I understand all of it. I just don't know what my offering would be in that, like, and there's no graffiti writers in the metaverse, right? Like you see the amount of people that are sort of going in there, but they're not graffiti writers, but they are in that, you know what I mean? Like it's just an ever revolving Confucius state for me.
Okay, so one thing that Hex does also say in this interview is that he doesn't know where or how to get in. Something to keep in mind though is that OpTic has in fact already got in. In fact, we see right here a tweet from OpTic saying, "For the Green War, we're launching our first ever OpTic coin in collaboration with Rally.io, exclusive priority to limited merch, NFTs, access to BTS content and more, stay tuned." Now this was tweeted back in October of 2021. And again, we have all this, stay tuned. The problem right now is, as far as I'm concerned, and please correct me if I'm wrong in the comments, but nothing has actually been shown yet as far as what to be given, what is happening, what the use case is. And this is why companies like 100 Thieves, where they don't even promise anything, they simply gave out NFTs to 700,000 people who wanted them, who asked for them. They gave them without any offerings afterwards. And it's way better, in my opinion, to do it the way that 100 Thieves did it compared to OpTic, because OpTic have literally promised all of these different more stuff. Stay tuned. Nothing has happened yet, and they got a lot of people upset. Yeah, not falling for that, announcing crypto scams and more, right? People were not happy. That being said, going back to the interview.
It's tough. I think you're going about the right way though. I think in this space, you definitely don't want to just jump in and do something ignorantly that you might regret, because a lot of people, like, you only get a chance to make a first impression once.
And this isn't me trying to hate on OpTic by any means, shape or form. I grew up with the team, FaZe, etc. But Hex has already put OpTic into crypto, and we don't know what the actual plan is right now. So they have got into it.
Especially in this space. And a lot of people seem like if you fuck up, they'll not care later on if you redeem yourself. So I think taking your time is really smart. I think that in general, it's really like, I don't want to give you like advice as an artist, because I'm not an artist, I'm a collector, but it's just like follow your heart and try to create something unique to crypto that you wouldn't be able to create in the physical space or in the digital art space. Maybe you have something unique to your tokens or something where you reward a collector smoke sesh or something. I don't know. Just like you can do really cool things that are slightly different while still baking in the art. And I think like doing it from a place of, you know, genuine love for what you're creating is how you should do it. And I think you're doing the right thing by taking your time.
I don't know how to do anything but that.
Then you're in the right spot.
I don't do shit I don't want to do.
Collectors in this space though, they see that, and they see artists who are trying to pander versus artists who are, you know, just doing what they love and following their own muse.
Yeah.
Now, if you're still confused and you don't know what exactly is in it, that's because so far they haven't actually given a great reason why gamers should be interested or at least accepting of NFTs. The good thing is, though, is that right now nothing has really happened to do that. So once it happens, then we'll have more to show you. But right now, it really is a case of pre-20, very, very early internet, essentially. Imagine trying to show the internet back in 2005 to people in 2022. It looks terrible, right? That's what we're seeing with Web3 right now. That being said, for everything happening in this space, whether it's crypto, NFTs, or metaverse news, this is the place to be. Web3 covering everything happening. Hopefully we'll see some really interesting NFT work from OpTic and Hex. To be very clear, when I've spoken about Hex and the OpTic coin, that's the OpTic coin. Hex, to be fair, hasn't actually released any NFTs, but they definitely have moved into the space, and from what I've heard, the creators within OpTic aren't necessarily all on board with the OpTic coin. Of course, I would love to get anyone on in the circle on an interview on this channel. But with that being said, this is the Web3 channel covering everything happening from crypto, NFT, and metaverse news. Anything like this that you're interested in, subscribe to this channel. Have a great day, everyone. I'll see you in the next Web3 video.